Hey guys, Jcc2224 here, and I am taking a look at the most expensive toy in my collection, and that is the Iron Man 3 Hot Toys MMS195 D01 Iron Patriot. This is the first die-cast Iron Man armor that Hot Toys made, and it's my first Hot Toys Iron Man. And I love it. I absolutely love this thing. Is it perfect? No. Will we talk about some of the things I love about it, which is most of everything? Yes. Will I talk about the things I don't love about it, namely just one little issue? I'm pretty much already showing it here, but yes, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I love this thing, and before we talk about the figure itself, I want to show off the package, because I feel like the presentation of the package is very important, especially for something like this. So, it looks very nice. It takes up most of my review stage. You can see on the bottom, it's kind of like a matte cardboard. It says Iron Patriot, all the stuff. It's a very flat, kind of clear plastic with that underneath. Here's all of the people responsible for the figure. That's a little icky-gicky on it. And then warning, choking hazard, all that good stuff. It's a box. You take the slip cover off, and then you have a styrofoam insert. We take the styrofoam insert off, and in the back here is where the display base and some other accessories are. And in the front here is where you peel back the styrofoam, and you are met with the figure and all of the stuff and all of the little plastic bits that is protecting him. So yeah, that's pretty much the presentation of the box. Not too much to say. I thought about putting him back in the review, but that would be a giant waste of time. So there we go. There's the package. I really like it. Definitely something worth keeping. I would actually display the box next to him if I had the space, but I don't have the space. So unfortunately, this box will just have to go back in the shipping box, and it will just go in storage. So let us readjust here and look at the figure itself. So the Hot Toys die-cast Iron Patriot doesn't leave a lot to be desired. He gets a lot of the job done. He looks absolutely stunning, as you can see. I have very little problem with the figure itself. It's die-cast, it's heavy, it's amazing. The figure itself, especially including the base, weighs about 2 pounds. So that's pretty heavy for an action figure. And overall, I absolutely love this thing. So before we talk about the figure itself, let's get him off this display base. I find the easiest way to do that is to slide him off and then take the clip and then kind of release it like that. So let's take the figure, and hopefully he will lean okay against the wall. I don't want him to fall. So the display base is very nice. You have a nice big metal rod here. You can slide this up and down. You can tighten that if you want. You have a nice clip with some foam to make sure the paint won't get scraped. And then the base here, this is some of the dust off. Got very dusty really quick. But yeah, you have the nice little foot pedals there. There's no moving things. Oh my gosh, the hairs are everywhere. Get off. Ah! Anyways, nice metal plate right there. Iron Man 3 Iron Patriot. And then on the bottom here, flip the switch, and it lights up. The lights aren't as noticeable in my brightly lit review stage here, but that does light up. And the display base is really nice. Unfortunately, it's not the best for dynamic poses. Like, his feet will end up like here and weird places. It's kind of more for vanilla poses, but you can still get dynamic poses out of this base. So very nice display base. We'll set that off to the side and probably never look at it ever again for the rest of the video. You have the arm cover here if you don't want the gun on it. If you just kind of want the arm cover, you can see it's kind of cast in a blue. Then it's painted all these other colors. And I'll show the gun arm in a second. And then in my little baggie here, we have all of the non-articulated bits for the hands. We have this little sponger thing if you need to, like, it's good for getting the batteries out. It's good for flipping switches if you want. I really like that. You have fist hand, and you have fist hand. So you have some fists there, which look really nice. I like the paint work on those. And then you have a saluting hand, which I feel is a very important accessory. And this is compatible with the light, so that's good. And I'll show off those lights later. Then you have repulsor hands for left and right. And these are kind of angled. You can see how they're angled. So you can't really get a good repulsor blast out of the articulated hands he has on him. But you can see you do have the options there. And then you get a screwdriver for changing out the batteries, which you will probably need to do. And then one last thing, you have a Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes head sculpt, which I will put on the figure in a little bit. But yeah, that head sculpt looks really good. Looks a lot like James Rhodes. Looks a lot like the good old Don Cheats. The paint's really nice on it. It looks really good. The jaw here is kind of on a spring, so you can kind of get that down. In its default pose, it's like that, but it kind of just droops down naturally when you don't have a faceplate on it. And you do have a couple faceplate options. So you do have a normal faceplate. You can just magnetically attach. This one's supposed to be kind of down, so it goes like this. And as other reviewers have pointed out, yes, you can have them talk like Skeletor. So yeah, you can do that, I guess. But what you're supposed to do, you have this faceplate, which I'll just show on him. He kind of has some of the panels folded up a bit. That's because this faceplate is designed to kind of go on the top. And this is another one of my complaints with the figure. That faceplate just doesn't fit on. It's supposed to, in a perfect world, it's supposed to be right there. That's how it's supposed to go. And then you release it, and it wants to cover his eyes. It wants to look weird. It's not. It's a struggle. And I hate that I can't display him looking nice like that, but that's just what they did with the magnets. Because see, the magnets, they're placed right there on the head, and they're placed right there on the mask. And let's look at the insides of the mask, too, because that looks really nice. And because of that, it wants to attach right at the end there. And I mean, you could maybe get it. It's so much finessing. They should have had like a little groove, a very unnoticeable little groove that it would fit in and look good. But you know what? That's what they did. And I'll put that head on the figure in a little bit here. Speaking of the figure, though, I think it's about time we talk about the figure itself. So, like I said, very heavy boy. He is about 2 pounds of awesome, and I love his weight. I love his size. I love that he is blue. I love the colors on the Iron Patriot. That's definitely one of the reasons why I decided to make this my first and maybe only Hot Toys Iron Man, is because I love the Iron Patriot. It's one of my favorite armors, and I think this figure looks really nice. So, as you can see, just looking at it, the details are amazing. It's very shiny and metallic. Like, you can see all the light bouncing off. Why is he so dusty, man? I haven't had this guy too long. It's like he got into a little alcove of dust. I hate it. But yeah, there's the look. He's looking really, really good. One thing I don't like is that the screws and the panels for the batteries and the arms are very visible. Even though for the head, they're hidden under that panel and under this panel. I'm just showing you right now. Whoa! This piece is die cast. That's why it made those noises. Then you just flick that switch, and his chest lights up. And it's kind of dim because I didn't have any working batteries. I didn't have a lot of working batteries on hand. So it's not going to be the most bright light. I already turned it off. And then the head here, you can just peel that panel back. Best way to do it is to kind of grab it by that, and then flick that switch. And I made sure my brightest lights were for the helmet. So as you can see, the helmet still lights up pretty bright. But yeah, the batteries I got with this guy, the seller said, oh, I'd never put the batteries in. And since the batteries were about 6-7 years old, they didn't work anymore. So I had to kind of scavenge around for working batteries. And then for the arms here, let's just show this off. Here is the gun panel I was telling you about, where you can interchange them. I always like having the gun. You can take this panel off, and you have the switch right there. Let's open up his articulated hand. And as you can see, the light does work, but on mine it's kind of very dim because I don't have very good working batteries right now. I'll get those someday soon, don't worry. But for now, I didn't worry about it. And then on this arm, it's this panel, actually. I'm surprised it's a different panel that comes off. But you get that off just like so. Then you flip that switch. Then let's just show here. You flip it, and then the batteries are just dead in that one. I can tell you it works, but I think the batteries are dead. So Yeah, like I said, I need to get new batteries. But they do work. The repulsors do work. But see, like 99% of this guy's life, the batteries aren't going to be on. The lights are not going to be on. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. So you did notice his gun earlier in the video where it was very loose. As you can see, it just kind of slots in. This is actually a good connection. It's not supposed to slide. You unslot it, put it in a different spot, unslot it, put it in a different spot. But the articulation is good on it for the most part. You can see you have a swivel right here. You have like two swivels actually right there. You have a hinge right here, which is nice and tight. The actual cannon itself is on a hinge on its platform, but this platform is so loosey-goosey on mine. It just won't hold up the weight of the cannon. Oh my gosh, look at that. It just won't hold up the weight. And it's a pin too, it's not a screw, so there's no real way of tightening it. So I'm pretty much stuck with just having him posed with it straight on his back, even though it's not really straight right now. Here, let's just take it off and set him down. With how big this figure is and how bright my lights are, I'm actually getting a little sweaty at the moment. Yeah, look at that, how tight that is. I'm worried it's going to break, it's that tight. The actual swivel the cannon's on, oh my gosh. But the actual hinge is so loose. And you can see it has a little danger thing right there. It's nicely painted, it's nicely detailed. It has a nice candy red, it looks good. It's just so loose. It's just so loose. So that's unfortunate. But it's no big deal. I usually like having it straight anyway. So, looking more at the details, there's a lot of details to take in here. The helmet looks absolutely great. Pretty much the same paint details you saw on the James Rhodes face helmet. Why is he so freaking dusty? I really have to apologize. He got dusty very quick. You can see Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes. All the little silver, which doesn't go on the edges on every single thing. You can see like right there, it's not really on the edge. It's not very convincing. But on other parts, it's a little more convincing for weathering and damage. You can see how the shoulder looks good. Some numbers and letters there. Warnings and just little militaristic things. I love the star right there. I love the stars and things on the hips. I like how the legs are nice and weathered. It looks really good. I love the candy red. It's a very nice thing. It is, without a doubt, one of, if not the nicest collectible I own. It's beautiful. Like, look at this. All the armor details, everything. The feet. It looks so good. All these are like individual panels, too. They can move out of the way. It's really good. It's a really good looking figure. And oh my gosh, just how I'm sitting in the chair and how heavy this guy is. It actually started hurting my back a little bit. You can see 002 because this is the second model of War Machine. Oh man, I love this thing. I love it, love it, love it. So let's go over the articulation, and then I'll kind of show it with Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes head sculpt. So the head itself is on a double ball peg. Then the neck is also on a ball peg, like down there. So you can pretty much get all the head articulation you really want out of him. He moves like a dream at the head there. I love that. The shoulders are on kind of on the universal swivels. You can shift them up and down, and if you shift the shoulder down and have the shoulder pad go under, you can get good outward at the arm there, and you can kind of get some little kind of butterfly action. Bicep swivel, elbows bend about double. They can kind of extend too. I think I usually always have them extended. The torso, without extending it, can move just a little bit, but if you extend the torso, you can get a decent more range, which I really like that. But I usually like having it collapsed. It looks a little weird if it's extended, in my opinion. The hands, the articulated hands. The fingers are on ball joints, and you can actually kind of change, or the thumb's on a ball joint, and you can change the direction of that. You have a hinge at that knuckle, and then all the other knuckles are just on hinges. Unfortunately, the fingers are not on a ball joint at the base, so you can't really adjust the distance or anything of those. And they're all on ball joints, so you can kind of get it moving. And here, let's change out. The fists, you pretty much know how they'll look, but I want to show you a repulsor hand. You just pop it off, and then pop a repulsor on. And then, ooh, come on, there we go. You can see the repulsor hands looking way more repulsory. And then I would never move the legs without getting these flaps out of the way. You can kick the leg forward about that much and to the side about that much. But then you also have a button on the back, right there on his butt, that releases the legs. and allows you to move them even further forward. So yes, you could get him in a ground pound pose, and it actually looks pretty decent. I'm not going to do it in this video, but you can do it, and I really do enjoy that. Very nice and posable. You have a bit of a thigh swivel, and the ball joint there works with you too. Very nice clicky knees, but they don't bend too far, but they bend pretty much as far as you need them to. And then the ankles are pretty much just on a pretty standard ankle joint system. They don't get a lot of tilt, unfortunately, but you do have a bit of a toe joint as well. So yeah, the feet are good. All the articulation's nice. Overall, man, this is, articulation-wise, definitely a winner in my book. Here, let's get that up a little further. So yeah, you can have the repulsor blast. You can have the salute. But let us show us the salute with the James Rhodes head. Even though I don't think it was actually James Rhodes that saluted. It was that AIM agent that took the armor from Rhodes that did the salute. So yeah, you can have the salute, which looks really great. I would display him like this, but my Char Aznable Hot Toys is probably also going to be saluting, so I want more diversity in my pose options. So you can have him salute, and then let's pop the head off. We're almost done, guys, don't worry. Oh no! Wrong ball, wrong joint. You can see it's on a dumbbell here, and then you can just get that back on. I'm not scared to pop this head off, unlike the Mafex Mark 45, whose head I've never popped off, because it's on this weird L-angled dumbbell joint, and I'm worried the bend in that angle is just going to snap one day. So I'm getting the James Rhodes head on and sort of trying to get this on top. I've been able to get it a couple times. I got it looking good once. It's not easy. It always wants to look crooked. I've even seen like official pictures that look crooked. It goes on crooked easier than it goes straight. Here, oh, dang it. I almost had it. There we go. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. Let's get him saluting there. Let's get the hair out of the way because there's freaking... And my fingers, I'm working up a sweat here, so they're getting sticky and getting hairs all over them. Not a fun time. Oh my gosh, it's hot in Cincinnati. Then I have to pose this die-cast metal figure under all these bright lights. But yeah, there we go, man. There is the Hot Toys Iron Patriot. Let's get the faceplate down. Look at that. That looks nice. Yeah, I dig that. I even like having this head sculpt on him, honestly. I might consider having him with this head sometimes. Meh. Then again, I'll probably always have that showing whenever I want this head. So there we go, man. Very amazing, amazing figure. I just want to do a couple comparisons just for fun before we leave. So here is the... cost me, I think it retailed for $310, cost me about $270, so I actually got it for less than retail. There's a Hot Toys Iron Patriot next to the Hasbro Marvel Legends Iron Man 12-inch. That's a little fun comparison there for you. This thing cost me like significantly less. I think this thing cost me like maybe 15-20 bucks. So there's that. And here it is with the Hasbro Marvel Legends Iron Patriot. So you can see the comparison there in size and in quality and all that. Here it is next to the Hasbro 3 3/4-inch Assemblers Iron Patriot. And yeah, I'm working up quite the sweat. Very tired. I'm very worn out. There we go. Hot Toys Iron Patriot. I've been putting off making this video because I knew it would be a bit of a hassle, but I did it and I'm happy about it. One last thing I want to show though. Let's get him back on this base. How I do it, I usually take the clamp from the side, kind of wiggle it to the front, and then drop him down. And there we go. He's on the display base. He's looking good. I would not put him on any other base besides the one he comes with because he is a die-cast figure. He's very heavy. So, like I said, be careful with his weight. Be careful. You know, make sure he doesn't fall over because he will chip. He will probably break if he falls from a high distance. So keep him on this display base, please. I beg you. Don't take him off the base. There we go. There is the Hot Toys Iron Patriot. I've already said it 1,000 times, but whatever. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Check my social media links, PO Box address, and frequently asked questions down in the description below. Have a good day, guys, and I will see you in the next video.